Such a rush, my baby, slow down, come find your love. I'm hoping you see me, come serve it up. Loving when you stir it up, that body belong on TV. Oh, this feeling I can't hide. You're feeling up my mind, and I just don't know why. I just don't know why. Five lives.
Mike, David Achero is a lawyer. Mike, David Achero is a lawyer. Sawa. Mwombe David Achero, lawyer. Usichukue mic. Mike, umepata jina David Achero, lawyer. So it's basically 2 seconds, okay. David Achero, yeah. So just 15 seconds. Ten. Well, I'm joined by David Achero, who's a practicing lawyer. David, just give us your opinion about the launch of this task force. Do you think is it too soon? Is it long overdue? What do you think?
I would say that it is right on time, because we have had many cases of corruption in our judiciary, in our land registries, but we have not had a mechanism that addresses the same. So it is our hope that this task force, of which I am a member, will address numerical cases that we have in our courts and in our land registries. And the whole idea is that we are trying to strengthen our institutions. And we cannot strengthen our institutions when we have rampant cases of corruption. Say, for instance, you go to court, you want to extract a court order, you must pay for the same service, yet whoever you are paying earns a salary at the end of the month. You go to court registries, you want to do a mere search, official search of a parcel of land, but then you also have to pay an equal amount of money to the fee that is chargeable on conducting a search. So this task force is going to handle these cases and come out with resolutions, proposals that are supposed to be acted upon by LSK, and it's a hope that also LSK will advance or rather make this process smooth in terms of engaging these two entities in terms of ensuring that we can now prevent or stop cases of corruption.
You've mentioned corruption and it seems to be coming out, but are there any other issues, perhaps conflict of interest by the judicial staff, interference even by the judicial staff or even the magistrate or the judges? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, there are many cases, and when you talk of corruption, we don't just mean taking a bribe. We mean it starts from the whole idea of morality. And speaking of morality, we are referring to, for the stats, maybe we look at the relationship between our court clerks, for instance, or court assistants, with the magistrates, with the JOs in charge of those stations. We look at how they come to court and the times upon which maybe some of them attend to our courts. Is it to the benefit of the litigants, to the benefit of we lawyers, or to the benefit of even the judicial staff? So we shall be addressing not merely an aspect of receiving money as a bribe, but also looking at some of the ethical issues that led to operations of our judiciary as well as the land registries.
From your years of experience, do these cases vary in urban centers compared to counties that are in far-flung areas, say somewhere like Marsabit, Mandera, Lamu? I mean, just...
Yes. Corruption has been made easier when we have an influx or a surplus of services. Because now, for instance, in towns, we expect that courts in our towns handle numerous cases compared to remote areas in Garissa, Mandera, and other counties. And therefore, you'll find that these cases may not be quite much rampant in our rural areas as compared to our towns. The major towns, major cities that we have, that is where we have the core of corruption cases.
Well, thank you very much. That was Council Achero just giving us his views about the launch of the task force that will deal with the efficiency in our courts. And from me here is back to you, studio, and we'll be back shortly. Si lazima I guide you.
Morris Anguka, your master of ceremony. I come bearing very good news. We can partake of the wonderful meal that is awaiting us right there, kindly. Please, we can proceed and serve as we wait for the formal program to begin. Karibuni.
Mike, Vincent Githaiga, council member. Okay. Well, I'm joined by Vincent Githaiga, who's a council member. And Vincent, just give us your opinion about the launch of this task force, and probably we can start with the representation. Do you feel this is the right representation?
Yes, thank you very much. Definitely, this is a very good representation. As you will soon learn, is that we have representation from members of the Law Society across all the branches of the Law Society of Kenya, from Nairobi to the coast and all the other regions. The task force is also well represented in terms of the years of practice. I've just seen a few senior counsel in the room, all the way from the mid-bar to the junior bar. So definitely the representation is good. Also to mention that we also have all the key stakeholders. We'll have the Judiciary, we have the Office of the DPP, we have the Office of the Honorable Attorney General, and all the other crucial players in the sector of justice. So definitely the presentation is really good.
Do you feel this is the way to go, or can we say this is a new dawn in the judiciary here in Kenya?
Definitely it is. This is something that we have been really pushing. We've been really pushing for it. As if you are keen, last year we had a very great push between the Law Society of Kenya and the Judiciary. And one of the things that we were really championing is integrity within our courts and also integrity within our legal profession, because we need to sanitize our processes, we need to sanitize the profession, which is actually a very noble profession. So this is a good time for all of us. It's a day to celebrate, and I actually feel that this has actually been long overdue. I'm very excited that we're finally here.
In your years of practice, probably, is there a case that you experienced or encountered, and deep down you sat and you're like, here, 1 + 1 is not adding up?
Definitely, I'm doing my 9th year of practice. To say that I've not had such a case will be a blatant lie. Definitely we have such, but the less we talk about them, the better. We really don't like washing our dirty linen in public as practitioners. But yes, you experience such cases, and probably even years after you've finished the case, you feel probably that is not the best way you could have handled with the case. But there are always better days, and I believe now with the launch of this program, better days are ahead for all of us.
Githaiga, maybe a final one. So where does this put probably a client? Me as a client, I've come to you, but is there an aura of frustration? Is there a loss of credibility between me and the lawyers representing me?
Definitely not. There is a privilege that you enjoy as a client, which is very, very well protected under common law and even with our national laws, so that there is advocate-client confidentiality. A client also enjoys what you call a privilege, client-advocate privilege. So you do not feel exposed. So long as all of us are doing the right thing, you do not have any reason to get worried whatsoever. And also just to mention, this is a time where we are also mentioning, where we are also dealing with cases of anti-money laundering. We feel that this is actually the best time for us to start this discussion. I say that because now, as per our laws in Kenya, Law Society of Kenya is a self-regulatory body with matters money laundering. So it is a good initiative. It is also a boost to the fight against money laundering, and also a fight against terrorism. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is a council member, Githaiga, who's just given us his views, his ideas of what he thinks, and he's spoken with a lot of enthusiasm, just saying that this is the way to go. And he looks forward to seeing the task force. He's also lauded the formation of the task force. Back to you, studio. Mike Ochengur, advocate. Mike Ochengur, advocate. Ochieng Gor, he's an advocate, yeah. Twenty seconds. Ten. The judiciary here in Kenya.
Yeah, this is a new dawn, especially on the LSK side, because you realize we have already judiciary, we have the efficiency and ethics committee of the judiciary, and this one we are now coming to complement on our behalf as the Law Society of Kenya, because you realize most of our members keep complaining about the inefficiencies at the court registries first, then secondly the land registries. Things are not moving, and there's a lot of call for facilitations. That's why we needed our own members who will be dealing with this matter. That's why I think the Law Society needs wisdom. The LSK Council has come with this task force to help our members ease burden of practicing on their shoulders. Yeah.
Ochi, any expectations from your side, and looking forward, are there any parameters that you're going to use as either in monitoring and evaluating the performance of this task force?
Yeah, members of the task force will be unveiled soon. I've seen senior councils present. It is diverse people from the AG, just colleagues from different spheres. I think this is a game changer for us in the Law Society of Kenya, so that we can always, when we have our own in these spaces, it can be, one touch, other than we are having to report to the judiciary, which is still important because we can members of the Law Society are also in the Court Users Committee. So we already have Court Users Committee, which is domiciled at the Judiciary. We also have Court Integrity Users Committee still in the Judiciary. So I think it is a good thing that LSK also is, we are just joining hands to ensure that we read Judiciary registries of corruption, we read our land registries of corruption, so that things can be flowing. So it is a matter of bread and butter for the members of the Law Society, efficiency and ethics. And that is a call that we are doing today. And we hope in the fullness of time, this is a game changer and it will really help our members. When we encourage members of the Law Society of Kenya to make use of this committee, it is our committee, so that it can be, it can help us to resolve our issues amicably, quickly, and efficiently. You see, that is helping our bread and butter. Yeah.
The current leadership of LSK, do you think, and the council members, do you think you've set the bar too high for the others who will come after you?
I think the current LSK council has set the bar really high, especially regarding the human rights aspect. You see, we've had a lot of human rights violations from last year's demonstrations, maandamano, and our president, Madam Faith Odhiambo, has really exceeded expectation. If we were to go by CBC mark rankings, there's exceeding expectation. And they've done really well on that side of the human rights and them expanding democratic space and the rule of law. Now what we need to do also, as we do that, as they do that as the council and as members of the Law Society, we also have members to be worried about. We are a membership of almost 24,000, and we need to also look at their, their side of the bread. We need to butter their side of the bread because we are a membership organization. So as we look for the general public, which is also our duty under Section 4 of the LSK Act, we also have members to take care of. And that's why we are saying, and through the LSK has said, that they need to, their work need not to be hindered because of bottlenecks in various registries that they operate in daily. So I think this is a game changer, and the LSK Council, of course, they have set the bar very high for those who will be coming after them. Yes.
For the benefit of the public who might not necessarily be in legal practice, but who might end up at your doorstep or at your colleague's doorstep as a client, maybe just take them to speed from a layman's perspective. How will this task force help them going forward?
Yeah, for the general public, there's always that disconnect between the general public and the legal services. People really do not understand what it is that goes on in our courts and even with the Law Society of Kenya. That's why I think this task force is for Kenyans. Anybody who will be having a complaint can approach lawyers. Lawyers are stationed everywhere in the country. So once you get to a lawyer's office and you have a complaint that you need to raise, you raise that there, then the lawyer that you have raised it to can always upscale it to the task force, and it will be resolved amicably. So it also gives us tentacles everywhere throughout the 8 branches of the Law Society of Kenya. It makes it easier, it makes it simpler. And we encourage members of the public that if you have issues in the land registry, or even those who are doing their own cases, the court registries, you can always approach any law offices. And we encourage our members that when members of the public come to you, if you cannot deal with that matter there and then, kindly upscale it to the committee or the task force, and it will be dealt with amicably. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much. That was Ochieng Gore, who's an advocate of the High Court, just giving us his views of the task force. He's also a council member and has spoken with a lot of optimism over the task force, hoping that this is the way forward. Back to you, studio. There's one in line. Hi, morning.
Morning, how are you? Your name? Manuel Jose, council member. Sorry? Manuel Jose, council member.
Manuel Hosea.
Manua.
Sorry. Mike. Manua Hosea.
Yes.
Manua Hosea, council member. Manua Hosea. We spell Manua
A-N-W-A. Hosea is the biblical one. H-O-S-E-A.
Hosea, like the Hosea in the Bible. SEA, yeah. Council member. Well, Mike, I'm joined by a council member, Manwa Hosea. Manwa, just your quick comments about the launch of this Efficiency and Ethics Task Force. What do you think about it?
First, I want to appreciate my fellow colleagues in council for perhaps coming up with this project that will actually lead to ensuring that our members and the general public actually get the services that they deserve, improve efficiency in the judiciary and ethical conduct of our members within the registries. As a council member, I'm very proud that this project and the task force will ensure that most of the problems you've had over time in the registries and the judiciary generally in delivery of services to the members is actually it comes to an end, and of course the concerns in terms of efficiency are actually handled.
So previously these cases have been there probably since post-independence, if not pre-independence, and were there any parameters in dealing with it, and how are they being dealt with? Was it a speedy process if you compare with what probably the task force is gonna do?
I think since independence we have had changes in terms of the laws. Remember when we promulgated the new constitution in 2010, there were new changes in terms of structures, in terms of efficiency, but there was no goodwill in terms of ensuring that actually these proposals that were in the law are implemented. And of course the judiciary has its own systems in terms of ensuring that there's efficiency and ethics in the processes, but we have never had a translation in terms of service delivery to the members of the Law Society and at large the members of the public, because the members of the Law Society represent the interests and the views of the public. And so over time there's been quite a transition both in the law, but now we are trying to transition the conduct and the behavior of the officers we put in office for purpose of ensuring that there is efficiency, and it's also seen in terms of expediting the matters that are in court, the matters that are in our registries, especially the land registry, which has had numerous problems in terms of efficiency, and of course which lead to backlog of cases, lead to backlog of incomplete transactions and so forth. And so it's a good initiative, and I think as the Council of the Law Society of Kenya and the legal profession at large, we owe it to ourselves to ensure that we put to task these individuals who are coming, who hold public office, to ensure that they are able to improve the efficiency and the ethical processes in terms of meeting that requirement for justice. Yeah.
When it comes to breaching the ethics especially among the judicial staff, I don't know how to put it in a very diplomatic and professional way. When you look at the demographics, is it the ones who've been there for longer or the young ones, or it's just a perception issue, it's a culture issue that even the ones who are coming in, joining in fresh from college, fresh from campus, they just adapt to the same process and they just become colloquial as the older ones?
I think it's a cultural issue because we have institutionalized some of these practices, but the problem is the people in those offices do not effect those proper changes in ensuring that actually service is delivered. And of course we can blame it on lack of change of tact, especially on the part of the judiciary, because we have had people transferred over and over again, but you're transferring inefficiency from one station to another. And so we need to ensure that whatever that they have been given to do in terms of delivery, they are able to deliver within that framework, and that is why we want the task force to ensure that at least this is effected. Remember, Kenyans and the members of the public and the legal profession at large have made several complaints with regard to essentially the conduct of certain officers. There is a quote in the judiciary called facilitation. I'm sure you've heard of that. It's a big concern because nothing can move if you do not facilitate. And of course, we don't blame the judiciary alone. But if you look at the National Police Service, if you look at other government entities, there is that aspect of facilitation. We want to ensure that that aspect or that corruption segment within the minds of the people serving the public is actually removed, and so that we can actually have justice delivered within the shortest time possible and with the required efficiency.
We have the Kadhi's court, and I'm asking this with due respect and a lot of humility, not to seem that we are judging our brothers from who practice Islam. Is this also the case, or it doesn't matter?
Well, those courts are within the structures of the judiciary, and therefore they form part and parcel of the justice system. I think those concerns cut across all manner of courts, be it land courts, labor courts, be it family courts, be it criminal courts, be it Kadhi's courts. I think the problems cut across, and that is why we want to have a structure that can monitor as to who's delaying that efficiency and how we can kill that demon of delay in terms of expediting the matters. Remember, at the level of a judge seated in a court, there is a lot that happens behind them. There is the filing process, there is the documentation process, there is preparation of court documents, and there is a lot that happens before a file gets to court. We want to go deep into the people who process those files before they get to court. How efficient are they? How do they, whether they follow the law? Because I know the judiciary has invested largely on the filing processes. I know we have transitioned from the paper court processes in terms of hearing matters to virtual processes. We have transitioned from physical filing documents to e-filing documents. And so these changes have been effected to ensure that there is efficiency, there is an ethical process that is followed to ensure that every other step is expedited to ensure that you get justice. But if we have these structures in place and yet we still have the same concerns we had 5-7 years ago, then I think the problem is the institution and the people there and not the law. Yeah.
Well, I understand this is a brainchild of LSK under the stewardship of Faith Adhiambo. Do you think this probably would have come 10 years or 20 years earlier?
I think it should have come early because we are the biggest consumers of justice in Kenya. We are actually officers of court. Our members are now approaching 24,000 benefit and make a living out of the court processes largely. And so whereas I would have expected it to have come early, I think Faith, my president, with whom I sit in council, has done extremely well in ensuring that we have this task force to ensure that those concerns that we have been raising with the judiciary are implemented. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much. And as the entry of Faith, who's the president of the Law Society of Kenya, walking into the launch of this event, which is a task force, the Efficiency and Ethics Task Force, together with her colleagues. Who've just walked in. And remember, this launch is coming to you live. This is the launch of the Law Society of Kenya Efficiency and Ethics Task Force in our courts, in our land registry. And the few who've talked to us, the few who've given us their opinion are of the opinion that this thing is long overdue, should have come way back. So I want to hand over to the MC to run the rest of the program.
Begin. Kindly, those who have not taken something, please do take something. Then we begin in a short while. Karibuni sana. As we wait for our guests to settle and everyone else to settle, kindly do not be bored. This is the time to know your council members. Council members are here. For those who have never seen them, you have the rare opportunity to meet your leaders. They are enjoying life here, and they've really worked hard for us, and we thank you, council, led by our president and the vice president. Kindly interact. We have people from the AG, where the official seal still is. I saw there were conservatory orders. So we are not worried. Karibu sana watu wa AG. We have the ombudsman. I have not seen the chair yet, but I think the people is in. Oh, Mwalimu Dr. Kimari, karibu sana. Karibu sana, ombudsman. We have representation, of course, from the judiciary, and when their time comes, we'll allow them to address us. We also have senior counsel.
You've gotten that Wycliffe Oyo council member Nairobi.
Senior counsel Ohaga is in the house. For young lawyers who are here, this is the time to greet senior counsel. This is the closest you can be to. By just greeting them, there's some infusion of legal knowledge that comes to you. You can even get a mediation 1 or 2. Just ask for job, young lawyers. There's no shame in asking for jobs, because you're going to get old without one, and it will be very bad. Yeah, interact with your seniors, your colleagues, your peers. Because little knowledge is very dangerous. You have teachers here of law. Was taught by Dr. Kimari. I don't want the split between the one between Murkomen and Chirapge. What we are saying is just respect the teachers, because they might bring, the transcripts. Then they want to say, oh, you are average, you are not meeting expectation in campus. Yeah? So I have my teachers here, and they will confirm I was very good in their subjects, even if good is relative. But we are now here. So I'm just making time for you people to interact before we officially begin. Our chief guest is still having something. And people online, we welcome you from across the 8 branches of the Law Society of Kenya. Majority of our members are online. Tunawakaribisha sana, all the way from Coast Branch to Southwest Branch, Western Branch, the Central. We also have a North Nairobi branch, the biggest branch. We have Eastern, is it? Now there's some forgetting branches. Southeastern. Yeah. Since I left council, I forget branches because I no longer do branch visits. I can't carry that thing with my own pocket. It is heavy. But those days we used to visit branches, and we were very happy. For those who do not know me, my name is Ochi Baba, or Ochi Ngor. I practice in this Nairobi. Some people think I don't look like Nairobi, but we see the Tuko for now. I also represented you in the council some time back. Then following, again, I fired and failed spectacularly. Those are the things of life. Sometimes you are high, sometimes you are higher. Don't put low into your mouth. So, karibuni sana. I know the CEO will lay down the protocol. I'm just recognizing those whom I can see. And belated happy birthday, Nyarosiri. We have a council member who just celebrated her birthday yesterday. Please wave so that people can see. Irene Otto. She was born when it was raining, and they couldn't even make it to the hospital because they did it in the village. Those who look at her now think she was born in Aga Khan. How far we have come. People come from very far. When me, I was born at home. but I look the part. So, you know the kind of struggles. You're ushered into life with a lot of struggles. They can even anger you if you're not careful. If you got a bad midwife, you can come out not breathing. So we thank midwives for ushering Otto and everybody else who was born in the village. Karibuni sana. I can see Manwa from the hills of Kisii, land of 1,000 hills. Been to his village, just pointed for me their home from a distance because we could not go up the hill. Manwa is our representative in the council. Manwa wave so that those who do not know you see you. Yes, people online you can see Manwa there. Gitaiga, they always say that it's the best dressed in the council. I don't know by what standards, but council members well dressed. His suits always fit him. Yeah? We always call him. My friend Oyo calls him that is a Luo in a Kikuyu skin. Yeah. If it's dressing and choice of machines, he does German machines. Chairman, Nairobi branch, Bwana Kivuva, karibu sana. You are the one we've been waiting for so that we can proceed. You know you are in your branch. The largest branch by so far. Zofa Roble, all the way from Garissa, karibu sana. She represents the country, even though she does not look like it. She looks like Nairobi. Karibu sana. I can't see other council member. I don't know where they're seated, but karibuni sana. Oh, Aseso. Being there, Aseso represents their country, also practices from Eldoret. Aseso waved so that they see you. He looks young, but he's been around. He's been around. Money is good. It is money that makes him look young like that. So kindly interact a bit, know one another, know each other.
Thank you very much.
Gloria stepped out. Gloria Kimani
is a practicing
Gloria
lawyer here in
council
this
member
country and also
Nairobi.
a council member based here in Nairobi. Wycliffe, from a layman's perspective, as a client or rather as a litigant, somebody has gone to a lawyer, there's a case that is ongoing, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the case might vary, but they might not understand why is this case taking long? Why is it going for 5 years, 6 years, up to 10 years for us to get the verdict? And do you think this task force perhaps will come and iron out the issues that would cause such a scenario?
Thank you very much. Indeed, as you've correctly pointed out, my name is Wycliffe Foyo. I'm a council member of the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch. And we are doing a very important exercise today of just launching this task force that deals with ethics around practice issues, both at the lands registry and in our courts. And your question is very important because what has happened in the recent past is that our processes have moved online. And we have now filing done online on something we call e-filing. And at the lands registry, we have Ardhi Sasa, that is a purely online system that deals with registration of lands, registration of charges and everything that pertains, practice at that registry. When you talk about how a client may wonder why their matter is taking long when they've instructed an advocate, one of the things we are doing here today is to ensure that first instructed an advocate, and just to ensure that a client instructs someone who is competent, someone who is active, and someone who is licensed to practice law. So that is the first point of call, that is this person you've instructed active on the role. And luckily we also have the LSK portal that is online. A client is able to check to know that indeed advocate, because one of the things we are dealing with that is causing delays and causing clients to be swindled of their money is hiring of quacks, people who are not licensed to practice. Allow clients to be able to fast track or keep in check their matters with the advocate, both by going to the advocate's offices, receiving regular updates from the advocate, but more importantly, from being able to receive updates directly from the judiciary. And that is one of the reasons why this task force is important, to also disseminate information that apart from just checking in with your advocate right now, the judiciary is required to send the client updates when their matter has come to court and the next court date. So a number of things may happen then, what we call adjournments, for example, in court, where your matter is called and either because your advocate is not present in court or the witness is not present in court or certain procedures have not been complied with, the matter is taken forward. This directorate we are launching today here also wants to ensure that part of the ethical standards in the practice of law is that we minimize adjournments. We minimize taking out of cases on account of flimsy reasons that could be avoided. For example, we want compliance with pretrial procedures to be done wholesomely, and wholesomely in this case means at the time identify the issues that are there, the documents that are there, so that when we file, we do it first time, we do it in a manner that does not need me to come tomorrow and say, I forgot to file one document. So this task force is basically aimed at ensuring that there are smooth procedures and dissemination of knowledge in as far as our court processes and lands registry processes are concerned. Yes.
In your 8 years of practice, as you've told me, I know you might not have missed to encounter such a scenario. How did you deal with it? I mean, and don't go into specifics like probably mention the name of the court or mention. How did you deal with it?
So one of the things we have to do, and especially as legal professionals, is to have internal processes and controls or that guide your practice. For example, where I practice, I have a requirement that I must first of all update a client within 24 hours of anything happening, of attending court, of lodging their document. Then that makes it, regular. That makes it not droppable. In fact, I update my client as soon as I leave court. But more importantly, it is to call out whoever it is that is impeding access to justice, whether it's a judicial officer, whether it's the registry, whether it is the advocate themselves, because adjournments and court processes stalling is a factor of very many things. So one of the things that we are doing, for example, at the LSK Nairobi branch is to make effective what we call bar bench committees. Bar bench committees are committees that are designed to ensure that there is an interaction between the bar, that is the advocates, and the bench, that is the judiciary side, to look at practice issues, including what is happening, what is making cases slower. Right now, you will have seen maybe in the recent past, the judiciary has announced for vacancies of over 100 magistrates, or over 15 judges at the High Court and 10 judges at the Court of Appeal. That is something we are also saying, let's upscale the numbers so that adjournments are not occasioned by a shortage of judicial staff. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Wycliffe, for your wise words. And now we want to go to the main function of the day, that is the launch of the Efficiency and Ethics Task Force. And I'll hand you over to the rest of the program. Now we're having the national anthem. That will have the East African anthem that is being sung before we proceed with the rest of the program.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious, Ya Allah, as we start this session, we ask that you may guide us, we may have fruitful engagements for the betterment of the Law Society of Kenya and for the service of all the members of the public. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Please resume your seats. Once again, I do welcome everyone. I can see the Chief Registrar is with us. Karibu sana, Mr. Nyandoro. And all the land officials who are with us, karibuni sana. We're always just walking in. It's called Simba. It's a council member of the Nairobi branch. I also saw TJ Shadrach Makakinyi, also a branch council member, Nairobi branch. We'll just go direct into it. I think we've spent a bit more time. And just an observation about our national anthem. This is off the hook. I don't know why even during Madaraka Day, we only do one stanza, even where the president is. I wanted to write a scathing article on it. If we don't sing it on Madaraka Day, when else can people sing the whole anthem? When it was changed, this country, the rate at which things are happening, you might realize the second and third stanza are already sold. So that we are just dealing with first stanza. Does it bother you? Because doesn't it bother you? When we are doing East Africa, we do the whole thing. But when it comes to Kenya, we only do what people are either tired, or we even forgot, or those words do not mean a lot. So I'm just encouraging us. I was talking to the MC, my co-MC, that we needed to sing the whole of it, and he said no. The president was already set on Madaraka Day, so we can only do the first stanza. At this juncture, let me welcome the CEO, Madam Florence Gwandaro, to welcome us. She will also lay the protocol that we'll all be standing on. Karibu, Madam CEO. Makofi kwake.
Thank you very much, Bwana Ochibaba. You make us happy. And I know after this, we'll be expecting a write-up of the wind blowing and exposing some things. Asante. Our chief guest, Honorable Justice Eric Ogola, Principal Judge, High Court, representing the Chief Justice. Mr. Mohammed Odongo, Principal State Counsel, representing the AG. The President of the Law Society of Kenya, Ms. Faith Odhiambo. The Vice President, Mr. Mwaura Kabata David. Council members, Chairperson of the Senior Bar, Dr. Fred Ojiabo, and the Senior Counsel present. The Chairperson of the LSK Task Force on Efficiency and Ethics, Mr. John Ohaga, Senior Counsel. The alternate Chairperson, Mr. Wilfred Derito, Senior Counsel. Chairperson of the Branch Chair Caucus, Mr. Eric Kivuva, and other branch chairs present. Honorable members of the LSK Task Force on Efficiency and Ethics, Dr. Mary Kimari, Head Advisory Unit, CAJ, invited guests, members of the Law Society joining us here and virtually, members of for the state, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. I'm delighted to welcome you to this significant event, the official launch of the LSK Task Force on Efficiency and Ethics in court and land registries and other registries. This is indeed a defining moment for the society. It is also a public statement that the Law Society of Kenya is committed to accountability, justice, and continuous institutional renewal. The decision to establish this task force was driven by a wave of credible reports from our members and the general public, pointing to systematic inefficiencies and persistent corruption within our courts and land registries. As the society, we listened and acted. I want to reaffirm that this initiative is not merely administrative, it is strategic. It aligns with our constitutional mandate to uphold the rule of law and protect public interest. It demonstrates that the Law Society is not a passive observer of dysfunctional, but active and active of reforms. This task force has been carefully constituted to bring together expertise, integrity, and great representation of our society. Our able chair, Senior Counsel, will be giving us an overview of the task force and its objectives. We appreciate that this work cannot be done in isolation by the task force alone, and that is why we are all here. We need your voices, your insights, your vigilance. I welcome you to be part of. I take this opportunity to thank you once again, and specifically to thank the Council of the Law Society for the leadership, the members of the task force for accepting this national duty, all our partners and stakeholders who are here today, and each one of you for showing up and engaging with purpose. I appreciate my team, the Secretariat, for putting this together. Asanteni sana, and God bless you all. Thank you very much. At this point, we need just to know the members of the task force, and I'll be inviting the Secretary, who is my deputy, Ms. Mary Kitonga, to introduce the team. Welcome, Mary.
Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. My name is Mary Mwathi Kitonga, Deputy CEO, Law Society, as well as the Secretary to the Task Force. I'll have the pleasure of inviting the members of the Task Force to come forward when I call out your names. And just a brief background, in March of this year, we put out a call to the membership to make their application in order to be members of this task force. After the process of shortlisting, the council was able to appoint a 17-member task force, and those are the people who will be leading this team. I'll start with Brian Victor Otieno. If you're here, just come forward and introduce yourself, give a few remarks. Tarigo Daniel Kipto, David Achero, Cherono Gloria Tongoi, Isaiah Ngodo, Christopher Oyer, Randolph Tindika, Lillian Nyangasi, Oleti Raphael Okubo, Wilson Kuombayo, Nicholas Mwangi Kinywa, Grace Njeri Gitae, Boniface Abuya, who I believe had sent his apologies and may not be here, Otieno Arnold Odiembo, Jotham Okome Awa. So members, this is the team. I think since I've already mentioned their names, we can just give them a clap and proceed with the discussions. Thank you so much.
At this juncture, I would like to call upon Senior Counsel Dr. Fred Ojiambo to come and make his remarks. Kindly, sir. Okay, Mwaura, kindly, as Dr. is preparing himself, Mwaura, kindly please come and make your remarks. Kindly.
Good morning, friends and colleagues. Good morning, friends and colleagues.
Good morning.
I want to take this esteemed moment, first of all, to say that I am not Dr. Fred Ojiambo, Senior Counsel. And this is the folly of losing weight tremendously. I have been on a journey, and as you can all see, I am doing well. Allow me to adopt on the protocols that have been laid by the CEO and make the following remarks that the President of the Law Society asked me to pen down. It is not in my usual nature to have a written opening statement. It is my distinct honor to address you this morning as we officially launch the Law Society of Kenya Task Force on Efficiency and Ethics in Courts and Land Registries. Today marks not just the commencement of a task force, but a collective reaffirmation of our duty as custodians of justice, transparency, and public trust. We convene at a time when the public confidence in critical institutions such as courts of laws and land registries has been on a test. Complaints of inefficiency, bureaucratic delays, and corruption are not just occasional whispers. They have become frequent and credible cries for intervention. Our society demands a justice system that is not only impartial, but also efficient. A land registry that is not only accurate, but also accessible and incorruptible. The establishment of this task force is LSK's direct and deliberate response to these calls. It is a moment of reckoning, but more so, a moment of responsibility. I want to remind you all that this is not a witch hunt. It is not driven by speculation or emotion. Instead, the 17-member task force that you have just seen in front of you has been mandated to collect evidence, consult widely, and present a clear, evidence-based report to guide institutional reform. Our aim is simple, but profound: to restore efficiency, ethics, and ultimately public trust. In crafting a proof framework, we must be humble enough to learn from global best practices, but confident enough to adopt them to our local realities. For example, Rwanda's Irembo Digital and Land Service Portal offers a model for integrating automation and reducing discretion of public officers. Estonia's e-justice system has transformed judicial efficiency, offering almost paperless access to court documents. The Singaporean zero tolerance to corruption within the judiciary's policy is embedded through rigorous internal audits and digital case flow management. I must commend the Judiciary of Kenya on the pilot phase of the Kenya law reform and the Kenya law report, which is one of a kind in the world. We must ask, what can Kenya borrow? What must Kenya protect? And what must Kenya innovate? Let me be unequivocal. We cannot have a just nation without ethical lawyers, ethical court officials, and ethical land officers. Ethics are not aspirational ideals. They are mandatory standards. And as a profession, we must lead by example. We must cleanse our own house even as we advocate for systemic reform. This task force is not just about pointing fingers. It is about offering a mirror to the system and also to ourselves. The problems we are facing are dynamic. The solutions must be equally responsive. The task force must, 1, embrace technology to simplify its evidence gathering process. 2, partner with the Judiciary, Ministry of Lands, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, as well as civil society, and conduct open listening sessions with advocates and members of the public who are the integral consumers. We cannot afford a rigid or exclusive process. We must be agile, inclusive, and open. And this is not just an LSK problem. It is not a judiciary problem. It is a national concern. Let us support the task force with information, courage, and honesty. Let us name the inefficiencies where they are and also imagine and be capable of offering solutions. To the task force members, your work is not easy and it will not be, but it will be historic. You carry the hopes and the hopes of citizens who believe that justice delayed, corrupted, or denied is not justice at all. Let this launch be the beginning of an institutional rebirth, not just through policies, but through action, and not just through recommendations, but through results. The Law Society of Kenya stands ready, not just to lead, but to listen, to learn and labor for the judicial and land system worthy of Kenya's constitutional promise. Let us be bold, let us be ethical, and let us be efficient. Thank you, and may this task force deliver not just a report, revolution in service. I thank you so much. Allow me at this juncture to invite the representative of the branch chairs, Mr. Eric Kivuva, to just come and give. He represents the caucus of branch chairs, and also he's my chairperson of the branch. Our AGM was supposed to happen sometime last week, but then AGMs and the Law Society are not very good bedfellows. Please give us Kivuva.
Thank you, my brother, Bwana Mwaura Kabata, the Vice President, LSK. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, learned colleagues, to ride on the protocols already established by our able CEO. And just start by saying that I don't know why Mr. Mwaura Kabata is making reference to our very successful AGM. That said, and on behalf of the caucus of chairs, I must start by commending my president. Madam President, I remember as the year was starting, we had a conversation around this. And we agreed that something needs to give. We need to get to a point where practice has some level of predictability. I need to know that when I want to come on record for a matter, it will not take me 72 hours. There needs to be a standard of expectation. I need to know that when I launch my transfer for a property, it will be done in this number of hours or this number of days without me having to facilitate. And so, Madam President, I commend you that we have gotten to this day when this has been actualized. But today, we gather for a moment in our pursuit of justice, integrity, and accountability. The launch of the Efficiency and Ethics Task Force marks the beginning of a transformative journey, one that seeks to restore trust in our judicial system, land registry, and other critical registries that impact the lives of millions. For far too long, corruption, inefficiencies, and a lack of legal compliance have eroded the foundation of our institutions. Justice delayed has often become justice denied, and unethical practices have bred mistrust among our people. But today, we reaffirm our commitment to dismantling these obstacles and forging a path toward a judiciary and registry system that serves the people with fairness and integrity. As a branch of the Law Society of Kenya, we have always stood as a guardian of justice through our mandate of improving the welfare and practice standards for our members, and this task force is an embodiment of that mandate. Through rigorous oversight, policy reforms, and unwavering dedication, we will uproot the entrenched practices that hinder efficiency and ethical governance. We will work with stakeholders, judicial officers, land registrars, and others to ensure that transparency becomes the bedrock of our system. Our mission is clear: to restore confidence in our judicial and registry processes, to eliminate corruption and ethical conduct at every level, to strengthen legal compliance and uphold the rule of law, to accelerate efficiency, ensuring justice is swift and fair for all. This endeavor demands collective action. We call upon our legal practitioners, civil society, the business community, and every Kenyan to be vigilant, to hold us accountable and support the reforms necessary for a just and equitable society. Justice should never be a privilege. It is a fundamental right. Today, as we launch the Efficiency and Ethics Task Force, let us pledge our unwavering commitment to a future where fairness reigns, where integrity guides our institutions, and where justice prevails for all. Together we will reclaim what was lost. Together we will build a legal system that stands as a beacon of hope, progress, and trust. Thank you, and let us march forward toward a Kenya anchored in justice, legal compliance, and ethical governance. Thank you, learned colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Chair Kivuva. Give another round of applause to our good chair. I wanted to remind the CEO that officially my name is Mwaura Kabata. The name that you addressed me with is a name that I cherish. And so as I call you dear in parting, I just wanted to say that I dropped the name David, and those who are very dear to me, like yourself, CEO, are allowed to use it. Senior Counsel Wilfred Nderitu, please come. Give a round of applause to our good Senior Counsel.
Good morning to you all. I think I just had a DMK call my name. Of course, I'm not offending when I don't when I only mention the initial. I am a person of a few protocols, so a good morning to all of you. Okay, at least I know 20% are listening from the volume. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, thank you. I stand here only very, very briefly to make some remarks regarding our purpose here today. We're talking about efficiency, we're talking about ethics, we're talking about those two in connection with the judiciary and in connection with registries. And with the judiciary, of course, you know, we're not just talking about courts, we're talking also about tribunals that are hinged onto the judiciary, the wider judiciary. And even with the registries, we're talking about all those registries that we go to that are impacted or that impact the mandate of the Law Society of Kenya in one way or the other. Now, I would want to say that there are strides that have been made. Certainly, there are strides that have been made with regard to standards of efficiency, with regards to ethical standards. But of course, we know that there are challenges that exist. And this, as I understand, as alternate chair of the task force, is the reason why the task force was established. And those challenges are challenges that have been voiced in many different ways out there. And it's important, therefore, that as the task force, that we look for evidence-based solutions to the challenges that have been there. I'm talking within the context of allegations, for example, that have been made by members of the Law Society themselves, who sometimes I have wondered whether they are part of the solution or part of the problem. Very widely and understand that unless we have an efficient and ethically driven judiciary, that allow me to use what appeared to be a tongue twister for the CEO. Instead of talking about task force, she kept on talking about tax force. For me, as a practitioner, taxation of bills makes sense only if we can have efficient services. Taxation of bills makes sense only if we can have ethical standards that are being applied. So I would want to just, because I'm a man of few words, as most of you who know me know, I would say that yes, while there has been quite a number of strides that have been made in various areas, including case management, I would want to commend particularly Honorable Justice Ogola, who has been involved in a number of those initiatives. Backlogs, which yes, have been reduced, but sometimes also there are concerns about the quality of the justice or the result that comes out. And I think I, for one, would want to see something that is more qualitative rather than just quantitative. Sometimes you find, yes, a certain judicial officer may be able to clean their desk and have a very, very good report on the number of cases that have been done. But then I think we need to go a bit deeper. The content of those decisions has been, and how that content impacts the users of the system, people who have come to seek justice before the various institutions that we have in the wider judiciary. Of course, there have been allegations of corruption, political interference, and so on. And when you think, again, still within the context of taxation of bills, I'm saying this so that I can drive the point home a bit closer. Think theoretically about, say, a land registry that will not be used, might not have a brief based on some fraudulent title, which is fine with me. And it is fine with me because then it means fraud through other forms of corruption, through political interference. And so we need to really look at the purpose of the task force from the question of digitization of the lands registry and the resistance. And by the way, the resistance to the digitization of the lands registry is not a factor of corruption. Yes, there are those who resist because they think that their corrupt ends will be served by having a non-digitized lands registry. But again, one major problem we have, even amongst the practitioners, is just thick-skinned resistance to change. They do not want to adopt paperless transactions. And I think that's an issue that we will need to look at as the task force. Well, as far as I understand from the program, I actually, I don't even recall whether I saw my name on the program, so I think I shouldn't be speaking too long. I just want to thank you all, and for those who are here supporting us, continue doing so. Let's do this work, and let's later on look that we made some positive strides towards creating a more efficient and more ethically driven ethically driven task force. I thank you all.
Senior counsel, when you laughed at the CEO for her remarks between task force and tax force, you had forgotten the word ethics. And I can attest that you're a man of not a few words. Allow me to just take a minute to also recognize. You will realize that our colleagues in council, just as yourselves, do an extremely remarkable work in policy as well as administrative function of the Law Society. Allow me to just ask them to stand so that we can see the Council of the Law Society that is led by the President of the Law Society, Faith Odhiambo. This is the Council of the Law Society. The beautiful lady that was expelled from Tanzania, Gloria Kimani, I can assure you in Kenya you are safe. The gentleman to her left is Mr. Jose Amanwa. the nice lady to his left is Irene Otto. The gentleman to her left is Gedaiga Vincent. Our colleague in a hijab is our good prayer warrior Zulfa Roble. Our nice colleague from the coast, Madam Elizabeth Wanjeri. And our good colleague at the back, probably Mano, if you sat down, we will be able to see her, is Teresia Wavinya. She is also a resident of Machakos. And our very good friend, Mr. Aseso. Aseso looks young, but I will promise you he's not. Money has kept him well. Allow me, please sit down. At this juncture, please let us welcome the chair. We have heard from the alternate chair of the task force. Let us welcome the chair, Mr. John Ohaga, Senior Counsel, to give us his remarks. Please give him a round of applause.
The Principal Judge of the High Court, Mr. Justice Eric Ogola, the President of the Law Society, Mrs. Faith Odhiambo, Vice President, the Chair of the branch of the Law Society, Council members of the Law Society, distinguished representatives from various ministries, the Lands Registry, which is well represented there, commissions and other agencies, members of civil society, friends of justice, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me start by saying that it is my honor and privilege to serve as chair and convener of this task force. And it's a great honor to join you this morning for the formal launch of the task force, which is the Law Society of Kenya's task on efficiency and ethics in the judiciary and various registries. This is not just the inauguration of a task force. For me, it is a clear signal, a declaration that as a profession and as stakeholders in justice delivery, we're committed to confronting the structural and ethical challenges that continue to impede the effective functioning of our courts and registries. As you know, under the Law Society of Kenya Act, the society is mandated to assist the government and the courts in matters relating to the administration of justice and the practice of law. It is also required to protect and assist the public in Kenya in all matters touching, ancillary and incidental to the law. The establishment of this task force is therefore in direct fulfillment of these statutory objectives. It affirms our commitment to uphold the rule of law, to maintain the integrity of our profession, and to promote public confidence in legal and judicial institutions. As many of you will no doubt appreciate, the administration of justice does not begin and end in the courtroom. It is an ecosystem comprising not only judges and advocates, but also the land registrar processing a transfer, the company registry officer issuing a CR12, the probate clerk responding to grieving families, the records official managing digital and manual archives, and so on and so forth. The task force we launched today is designed to look at that entire ecosystem holistically, objectively, and constructively. As I see it, the mandate of the task force is twofold. First, to evaluate the efficiency of service delivery across the judiciary and registries relevant to legal practice. Second, to assess the ethical standards that govern those spaces, including how they are upheld and how lapses are addressed. This effort responds to persistent concerns from legal practitioners as well as the public alike. Delays in rulings and judgments, backlogs in registries, duplicative procedures, opaque record keeping, digital systems that are either underutilized or unreliable, and in some instances, unethical conduct that compromises the dignity of public service and the integrity of our profession. The task force has been given a comprehensive mandate with specific terms of reference that include: 1, judicial efficiency, examining the timelines in the hearings and determination of cases, reviewing backlog clearance efforts, assessing the use and effectiveness of digital platforms such as e-filing and the case tracking systems. Secondly, ethical standards, which include investigating ethical concerns in court and registry operations, recommending measures to enhance transparency, accountability, and trust in judicial officers and administrative staff. 3, registry operations, auditing procedural workflows in key registries, land, companies, probate, and civil, evaluating service delivery against legal requirements and public expectations, and proposing practical reforms including digitization, staffing, and infrastructure support. 5, stakeholder engagement, consulting widely with legal practitioners, court users, registry staff, and public institutions to ensure that the recommendations are grounded in lived realities. And lastly, monthly reporting and a reform roadmap. The task force will issue monthly reports to the LSK Council, share findings with sector stakeholders, and submit a comprehensive final report complete with benchmarks and an implementation roadmap. We're also deeply conscious of the growing public outcry and widespread reports alleging corruption within sections of the judiciary. These perceptions, whether real or exaggerated, have serious consequences. Welcome, Dr. Fred Ojambo, Senior Counsel. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I will take that again. We're also deeply conscious of the growing public outcry and widespread reports alleging corruption within sections of the judiciary. These perceptions, whether real or exaggerated, have serious consequences. They undermine public trust, compromise due process, and diminish respect for the rule of law. This task force has been expressly mandated to engage with such concerns responsibly, thoroughly, and impartially. Our objective is not only to document such claims, but also to interrogate the systemic weaknesses that may allow unethical conduct to take root. We will do so while respecting the independence of the judiciary and the dignity of its officers, and while upholding the core values of fairness and evidence-based analysis. We are not engaging in a blame game. The goal of this task force is not to find fault, but to find solutions. It is to offer support, promote innovation, and recommend reforms that are realistic, collaborative, and beneficial to all users of the justice system. It is our belief that every Kenyan deserves a judiciary that is efficient and fair. Every advocate deserves a registry system that works transparently. And every public servant deserves an environment where ethical conduct is not optional, it is expected. To the members of this distinguished task force, thank you for accepting this responsibility. Your work is critical. You carry with you the hopes of a profession and the expectations of a nation. We trust in your diligence, your independence, and your courage. To the judiciary and all institutional partners represented here today, this task force is your ally. We hope to work with you, not around you. We urge your cooperation and candid engagement throughout the term of this task force. And to the public, this is a promise that your concerns are being heard and that reform is not a slogan. It is a process we're determined to see through. Let this be more than a formal launch. Let it be a turning point, one where we say justice can be faster, it can be fairer, and it can be founded on values we all share: integrity, transparency, and accountability. Thank you. May this task force lead us forward together.
Please let's give another round of applause to the chairperson of the task force. The message was very clear. At this moment, allow me to also recognize the presence of Dr. Fred Ojiambo, Senior Counsel, who has come in. He has also informed me in passing that his message will be delivered by the President of the Law Society, and so we will excuse him. I had promised that I will not mention the name David again, but the CEO has forced me to do it. Please let us give a round of applause to the Chief Land Registrar, Mr. David Nyandoro, who will address us now. You are Mr. David Nyandoro. We share a name, and for that reason, please receive my hearty welcome as you come to give your remarks. Mwalimu Kimari, just prepare the seat. You'll be next.
Chief guest, Honorable Justice Ogola, RSK President, Madam Faith Otiambo, Senior Counsel, Dr. Fred Ojiambo, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First and foremost, I receive greetings from the Principal Secretary, Minister of Lands, under the State Department for Lands and Fiscal Planning, Honorable Nixon General Collier, who for other functions was not able to join you this morning. It's my humble pleasure for this invitation, and particularly to embrace the team that is going to go through and check that we meet the aspirations of our people. More often, we think about self, and we ignore the call that has been bestowed on all of us, giving efficient, effective, and a quality service is not optional, but a demand by the Kenyan people who pay taxes on day-to-day basis to make sure that the government meets its objective and mandate to its people. An institution or a government that does not build the aspirations of its people, as they say, is of no use to its people. Colleagues, we live at a time when technology moves very fast, when we also have to make sure that we are not left behind. Land is a factor of production, and to a greater extent from where I stand, I say there is no Kenya without the landmass of Kenya. There is no any greater value that you can give to our land resource, because it is everything for all of us and for the generations to come. Meaning those of us who have been given a responsibility to serve, we must embrace and make sure that this resource is well utilized for generations to come. Chief guest, as a state department and as a ministry, we embarked on the journey of digitization of the land records. As we speak today, Nairobi is done. We are in Murang'a, Isiolo, and Marsabit, and this morning I've just come from Mombasa, where last week we had a stakeholder engagement, and also with the issues in the coast region, trying to understand about particularly what we call the high water mark, where we found that there are areas which ought not to have been titled. In this line, it is our ambition, wish, and objective that by digitizing the land records, we will not have the excuses of missing land records. If I'm not wrong, about 70% of our issues or cases in court, in one way or another, relate to land, be it criminal, civil, succession, or under the Land and Environment Court. In this regard, as a ministry again, we have started the journey of reviewing the national land policy, because we believe the policy that has been in place, which was supposed to be renewed after every 10 years, is long overdue, because it is more than 15 years old now. We also have had complaints from members of public, particularly where I serve as the registry, that when you come to Nairobi, when you go to Western Kenya, when you go to the northern part of Kenya, the land services that are given are not the same. To an extent that now the officers have taken them upon themselves even to prescribe some of the requirements that they need before services are given. This is not acceptable. We have the relevant laws, we have the regulations. But more than that, my office has reached to the office of the RSK president, and we are in the process of coming up with the chief land registrar's practice guidelines, so that when you go to Kisumu, you go to Mombasa, you go to Nyeri, you should get the same quality of service and with the same conditions, so that you do not have where you have different conditions depending on who officer is serving you. Allow me to say that in the last 3 weeks, we also came where a practitioner, in conjunction with some of our officers, have taken upon themselves and called them on issues relating to Ardhi Sasa. When we checked we were informed that the advocate had already sought and had been given clearance from RSK. My PS has written a letter to that effect to RSK for clarification, and as we speak, the officers from the ministry have been suspended pending disciplinary. We do not train as a ministerial or state department. We do not ask members of public to pay to be trained on what we are offering in our system. This is a government system. It is not in any way related to this group calls itself ERD. Also allow me to say that as practitioners, we should not abdicate our role, particularly in this era where we have brokers and the people masquerading as advocates. Honorable Chief Guests, last week, on Monday to be specific, there is this group that came to my office, and the issue that brought them to my office is that their document had been withheld by my officers in the ministry. The document had stayed for more than a year. When I called for the document, the owners had been requested to come, but the person who was supposed to relay the message never informed the clients until they visited my office. What was shocking is that these clients, this couple, had been given good titles from the ministry. But at the point of delivering these titles to the clients, they were exchanged and they were given fake documents. A property in Nakuru, around 219 acres. How far or how low can we go? When we try to find out to get our, as to who were actually representing this couple when they were doing the transaction, it came clear that they were using people masqueraded to be advocates. Because when we went, we checked, we were able to call, we confirmed that there were no such people at RSK. This calls upon all of us to be bold enough to expose those people who want to bring bad name to the profession. When you give in, then you cannot say you are not part of the broken system. There is always in issues relating to corruption, there is a giver and a taker. And I think as a giver, you have a responsibility to say no. We are also in the process of taking back the bill, the Land Rules Amendment Bill 2023, at the Office of the Attorney General, because we believe there are issues that still requires to be addressed, particularly on the sectional attack. Last week, part one, it is shocking that when we target officers, services of these officers, norms in the registries across the country. We are closely working such that we do not have errant officials who tarnish the name of the ministry or the registry. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chief Land Registrar. As I was listening to you carefully, I picked two versions of giving, and but then Ochibaba was sitting on my back, and I just remembered that he once laid a peaceful demonstration to the Lands Registry back then, and he's shut toe in the midst of that fracas. And I'm extremely grateful that you even took your time and honored us and our invite. She is the representative on the chairperson of the Commission on Administration of Justice. She also was my lecturer at the Kenya School of Law. She carries many accolades. She knows that I was a good student. She knows that I did well. And she is my friend too. So give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Maura. Was he a good student? Yes, the best. Before I start, I will state that I am of the opinion that I'm one of the most wealthy women in our country. When I look around the room and I realize that I've interacted with like 80%, that in myself is wealth. However, when I get to that phone and I look at all the contacts, at times I wonder why I have so many contacts in our country. It's not because I want to come for a harambe, a burial, a funeral. It's because I need some services which I cannot get without having certain numbers on my contact list. So this is a very timeous time to be here today just because of those contacts. It's quite distasteful. Allow me to ride on the protocols already established, on which note I will now first convey the greetings from Advocate Charles Dulo, the chairperson of the Commission on Administrative Justice, commonly referred to as the Ombudsman, and his apologies for not being here physically as he would have wished. However, he wishes to assure you that my presence here aptly presents him. It is a distinct honor and privilege that the Commission on Administrative Justice is present here today during this pivotal launch, the unveiling of the Law Society of Kenya Efficiency and Ethics Task Force in courts and the land registries. CAJ extends its warmest congratulations to the Law Society of Kenya. Taking this bold and proactive step truly shows deep commitment to a justice system that works for every Kenyan. It's a powerful testament of your dedication to this cause. As a commission mandated to address maladministration in the promotion of administrative justice, we are acutely aware of the challenges that are faced by citizens in the Kenyan courts and the land registries. The numerous frustrating voices sounding complaints of delays, inefficiency, corruption, among other cases of maladministration, hits home for us since they mirror the injustices that we hear and resolve every day, albeit amidst a diverse, challenging environment. This task force, I think a majority of you are seated on this side, with the chair and the vice here. This task force is a direct and necessary response to those very real challenges. Concomitantly, as an institution, this initiative with particular interests, more so from the understanding that inefficiency and corruption often drive to access information that is critical to the enjoyment of their inherent rights, the land rights included. That said, with the intent to eliminate Article 35 of the Constitution, the Commission posits that the efforts of this task force to promote transparency and efficiency are inextricably linked to safeguarding every Kenyan fundamental right to information. The Chief Land Registrar, access to information is very critical as you even go to enforce the judgments from the courts, to ensure that the people in that specific ground already know what it is that you're actually coming to do on the ground, just to ensure that you diffuse the tension that is on the ground. And to the task force, having picked up not once, not twice, and from senior counsel, this is evidence-based, the Commission recognizes your key role in collecting critical evidence and providing actionable recommendations. We believe that robust between institutions, CAJ included, is paramount to achieving systemic reforms. We stand ready to offer our support and expertise in any way that can further the objectives of this task force, particularly where matters of access to information and administrative transparency intersect. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to underline that this initiative is not only timeous, but administratively essential. It is a vital step towards fostering greater and efficiency within the institutions that have the fundamental role of promoting the rule of law while inversely enhancing public trust. We eagerly anticipate undoubtedly play a huge part in creating a legal and administrative landscape in Kenya that is more transparent, ethical, and functional, our citizens through better governance and easier access to information. To each member of the task force, we commend your dedication and selflessness in recognition that your efforts will have a profound. God bless you all. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, materially wealthy. You do not have to shy away from that. Public officers always keep away from saying they are materially wealthy. Chief Land Registrar, I wanted to make society, it will be important to harness our partnership so that when you get those reports about persons who are not qualified to practice law, or those who masquerade as, see that the law applies to them uniformly. At this juncture, allow me to call the representative from the Office of the Attorney General, Mr. Mohamed Odongo. I will not put you on the spot about the public seal. Ochengor has already done that. Karibu sana.
Yes, the Principal Judge, Justice Eric Ogola, the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Faith Odhiambo, Senior Counsel present, Council members, colleagues, good morning. Yes, my name is Odongo Mohamed. I am a Principal State Counsel in the Office of the Attorney General. I am here on behalf of the Honorable Attorney General and Honorable Solicitor General, who are not able to make to this very important event because of other. Allow me ride on the protocol already established. It is both an honor and a privilege to address you today on the occasion of formation of the Law Society of Kenya's Task Force on Ethics and Efficiency in Court and Land Registries. The Honorable Attorney General expresses her sincere appreciation to the LSK Council for this timely and commendable intervention and initiative. Secondly, the Honorable Attorney General sends her message of congratulations to all members of the task force for the deserved appointment. The land sector remains the cornerstone of Kenya's economic and social fabric. It is deeply intertwined with livelihoods, justice, heritage, and national development. However, it is no secret that for a far too long, inefficiencies, bureaucratic bottlenecks, and ethical concerns have undermined public trust in our land administration and justice systems. This has led to ballooning cases of land disputes in our courts. For example, the total backlog of land cases in the Office of the Attorney General as at March 31st, 2025 is 10,800. These are not just statistics, they are not just disputes, but they are disputes that affect the livelihoods of Kenyans. They are disputes that halt delivery of critical government projects and services. There are disputes that impair and impede development in the country, and there are disputes that compromise public and investor confidence in the land management system in Kenya. Resolving such huge backlog in our courts and restoring public and investor confidence in our land management systems require strategic interventions and multi-sectoral collaboration. The Office of the Attorney General welcomes the formation of this task force as one of the multi-door strategic approaches towards land reform in Kenya. A fortnight ago, the Honorable Attorney General, who is keen towards solving and addressing the land problem in Kenya, constituted the first ever and Environment Rapid Result Initiative Committee on critical government projects. The President of the Law Society of Kenya, Faith Odhiambo, a very important committee. The committee, comprising of a team of experienced land and environment law practitioners drawn from the LSK and the State Law Office, is and curb malpractices in all sectors in the judiciary, including unethical practices in the ELC court. Therefore, the unveiling of this task force and its broad mandate is a welcome move. The diminishing public confidence in land registration and judicial institutions hinges on integrity and continue to derail justice, enable land fraud, and deepen inequity. Cases of double allocation, cases of cancellation of titles, cases of land fraud. Therefore, the task force focus on ethical conduct is not only necessary, but it is long overdue. On efficiency, the registries cannot be overstated. Lengthy delays, missing records, and inconsistent processes are not mere inconveniences. They are barriers to justice. Are not only actionable, but also aligned with ongoing government reforms in the land and justice sectors. In conclusion, I want to urge all stakeholders, including the legal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohamed Odongo, for your encouraging words and your affirmation on the support that's of Mr. Tom Kopere. Council is a council member with the Law Society. He represents practitioners of above 35 years and above. Today he carries no accolades because he has his seniors in the room where he's seated, and he is in his place. Also because this is a season where vice presidents and deputy presidents usually suffer a lot. Allow me to recognize the presence of Mr. Ribin Ondwari. I can see you're seated far from your chair. Is there something we should know? Please, with utmost humility, allow me to welcome the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Madam Faith Odhiambo to give her keynote address. Please give a round of applause to. You know our teachers teach us every day, and Ms. Kimari just went ahead to use the noun concomitance. I thought I should look it up.
The chief guest, the principal judge, Honorable Justice Eric Ogola, representative of the Attorney General, Mr. Mohamed Odongo, senior counsels present, Dr. Fredo Jambo, John Ohaga, Wilfred, the Chair Eric Kivuva, and your counsel, the Chief Land Registrar, the CEO of the NCAJ. Allow me. Good morning again. It's my distinct honor and privilege to address you this morning as we launch this very necessary task force. And if I might say, long overdue task force on efficiency and ethics in the judiciary and other registries. This is not merely the unveiling of another committee, it's a clarion call to accountability, introspection, and a collective reform in the administration of justice. Now, I know the word task force doesn't usually get everyone's heart racing. It's not as exciting as a plot twist in a criminal trial or the suspense of waiting for a court file to be found. But this particular task force is different. This one is ours, born of our shared frustrations, forged in hope, and focused on results. Let's face it, if I had a shilling for every time an advocate complained about a registry misplacing a file, or a client asking, why is my case taking 6 years, I would have funded the construction of the LSK Tower myself. And I suspect I'm not alone. Allow me to start with a fundamental premise. Justice delayed is, and I dare add, justice compromised by unethical conduct is justice corrupted. On it. Why this task force and why do we need it now? Because something is not right, and we all know it. The brunt of systematic inefficiencies, lethargy, and at times outright malfeasance in the judiciary and court registries. Files mysteriously vanish, court dates are assigned without logic, judgments take years to be delivered, litigants queue at registries at dawn, only to be turned away by midday with no service. And I dare say recently on WhatsApp, I saw someone writing at 2 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes I wake up in funny times, and they were complaining that they could not file their document even as they woke up early to try and file at 2 a.m. thinking that there would be no queue. But they were showing that service cannot be found. The web system is down. Advocates are sent on wild goose chase for files that exist but cannot be found. And worse still, a cloud of ethical concerns continues to hang over officers of the court and registry. And I also say that as much as we are told it's e-filing and an online paperless system, when you file online and the court is telling you they cannot see it, whose problem is it? You know, sometimes when my advocates are in court, I feel like joining that court session and telling the magistrate, whose problem is it? We have filed the online document. So you want us to go and print and present it to the court clerk. Is it online filing, or we are still have to print and submit it to you? You don't need to be a Supreme Court judge or a senior counsel to see that efficiency and ethics in our justice system has been under siege. The delays are legendary. The files vanish like magic props. Court dates come and go, but justice remains as elusive as an advocate trying to find parking at Milimani Law Courts at 9 a.m. on Monday. Even the digital platforms we so enthusiastically embraced now seem to have taken a life of their own. E-filing is beginning to feel like e-frustration. And don't get me started on the joys of case tracking, which sometimes feels like a game of hide and seek. So today we are saying enough is enough. Enough of sluggish systems, enough of opaque registry dealings, enough of small bribes or big favors, enough of court processes that move slower than a tortoise on a rainy day. This task force has been formed with a singular mission: to clean the house and open the windows, to bring in sunlight, to bring in air, to restore dignity and discipline to the system we so deeply depend on. And I say deeply depend on because as lawyers, if we don't have a justice system that is working, why should clients need us? They normally say, you don't need a lawyer if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, the Law Society of Kenya, as a key stakeholder in the administration of justice, cannot sit on the sidelines while these challenges persist. We have a duty and a moral one to speak, to act, and to lead. This is why we have established this task force to identify, interrogate, and propose practical, implementable solutions to the inefficiencies and ethical deficits plaguing our judicial system and registries. Let me be clear, this is not a witch hunt. It's a process of reform. It's a conversation among equals, grounded on mutual respect, but guided on unyielding resolve. This task force is not a group gathered to write another beautiful report that sits on a shelf gathering dust close to the Vision 2030 blueprints. This task force has real teeth and we expect it to bite and not just bark. And as I say that, I'm looking at you, Chair. It will assess inefficiencies, corruption, and conflicts of interest. It will audit digital processes, e-filing platforms, and case management tools. It will engage the judiciary, court users, registry officers, advocates, and members of the public. It will document, report, and it will name the challenges and recommend what needs to be fixed. It's not just a group of note-takers, it's a team of change makers. My task force members, I hope you're listening. The terms of reference of this task force are ambitious and rightly so. They demand a granular review of inefficiencies, from the delay in delivering rulings to administrative bottlenecks in our registries, a candid evaluation of ethical concerns, from petty bribery to grand corruption, from conflict of interest to a worrying lack of accountability, a forensic assessment of digital transformation, because technology is not a panacea, it replicates old inefficiencies in a digital form. A benchmarking against best practices across the region and globally. And I must say my Vice President surprised me by having done a bit of background looking at different jurisdictions from Canada to Singapore. So I think he can aid you with that and start along the way. A deliberate, participatory, and evidence-based approach involving judiciary, court users, advocates, clerical staff, and other registry members together with the public. And critically, the delivery of monthly reports that are not shelved but a trigger real-time intervention. This is a bold undertaking, but boldness is what justice demands at our times. We often think of ethics as something philosophical, but make no mistake, ethics is operational. The moment a court clerk accepts a bribe to fast-track a file, someone else's justice is delayed. When a judicial officer is compromised, the scales of justice do not merely tilt, they break. An African proverb teaches us that when the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spreads death to the branches. Unethical behavior in the registry may seem like a small issue until you realize that every delay, every lost file, every tampered record, every misscheduled case represents a citizen's fading hope. And every file that you're frustrated to find at the large registry normally replicates, at the end of the day when there is fraud, my advocates being picked up by the DCI. And that is something that I say must stop. The DCI should use the correct channels, summon people to the police station or to DCI officers, then demand them to appear in court. I've said that we will fight this Friday arrests of advocates. If you believe somebody has engaged in any unethical conduct, we have processes. You know where their offices are. And so if they are in those offices, where are they going to disappear that you must arrest them on a Friday to ensure you frustrate them till Monday? Esteemed colleagues, this task force has one guiding star: to restore and reinforce the integrity, efficiency, and dignity of our justice system. And let us remind ourselves, these three are not mutually exclusive. Efficiency without ethics is machinery without conscience. Ethics without efficiency is virtue without delivery. We must pursue both. We are acutely aware of the challenges that lie ahead. Institutional resistance is real, bureaucratic inertia is formidable, and we are seeking change. But as a law society, we are not afraid of resistance, we are emboldened by it. To the judiciary, it is our partner in the pursuit of justice. It is not our enemy, it is our ally. We are not here to antagonize, but to collaborate, and we are not here to point fingers, but to offer help of justice. And temples, we all know, must be clean, both inside and out. As partners, we must speak truth to each other, and even when it's uncomfortable, we do so with humility, to carry the expectation of an entire profession and the hopes of countless Kenyans who depend on a fair, functional, and principled justice system. We expect rigor, independence, and courage from you. We expect solutions, not platitudes. We expect accountability, not excuses. You have been entrusted with a sacred mission. You will be walking through the corridors of power, yes, but also the trenches of public frustration. You must bring wisdom, independence, courage, and humility to the task. As Chinua Achebe once said, when the moon is shining, the cripple has no excuse for not dancing. The task force will shine the moonlight. Let us see some dancing. We expect actionable recommendation, not vague statements. We expect real-time data, not anecdotal observation. We expect interim, monthly or quarterly reports that inform the immediate reforms, not to decorate our shells, but we pledge the full support of the Law Society to your work. To the registry officials and staff, this is not an inquisition, it's an opportunity. I remember the CS of lands complaining the way BRS has become the hub of taking away land from members of the public, where you find directors' names have been changed and the property has been transferred or sold. Then by the time you're able to access your information, you have lost your land, you have lost your property. To restore pride in public service, it's my sincere hope that the output of this task force will benefit you just as much as it benefits the wider public. We also ask that you help us fight masqueraders. And we ask you to work with us to avoid allowing conveyancing to be done by non-qualified persons, including surveyors. Surveyors are not lawyers. They should not engage in transactions that are solely the realm of advocates. And Chief Land Registrar, you should issue a memo, because we continue to see them doing land transactions. Yet at the end of the day, advocates must report under our AML. What are they going to report if that transaction was not done by ourselves? Then later on, it's my advocates. I've not seen surveyors being picked up by DCI. It is only my advocates that are being picked up. And so we need to fight this together. We urge you to embrace this process as an opportunity, not a threat. The call for reform is not an attack on your institution. It is a reaffirmation of its centrality in the democratic order. Let us work together to rid the system of its flaws, not to defend them. The people of Kenya are watching, history is watching. To the members of the bar, we too must be accountable. And yes, as we complain about inefficiencies, are we also honest in our dealings? Are we punctual? Are we ethical? Let us not just shout justice at the courtrooms and at the registries while we are cutting shortcuts ourselves. The integrity of the legal profession is not separate from the integrity of the judicial system. It's one and the same. And I dare say we have disciplinary processes available to the members of the public to deal with rogue officers. We must also call ourselves to order. We cannot call others to order when we are not cleaning house. I dare say I get all the direct complaints, not only on my X page, but also directly. We receive complaints to the CEO, we receive complaints to myself about our advocates. Let us uphold the integrity of our profession, because what you do affects the entire profession. So as we fight to clean up the practice space, we also urge you to clean up your houses so that we can ensure there is justice all round. To the public and the court users, to our clients, to litigants, to ordinary wananchi, want to hear from you. You're not just recipients of justice, you are the reason it exists. Speak up, tell your stories, hold us accountable. Because in the end, a judicial system is only as strong as the faith that people have in it. This task force will come to you, speak freely, share your experiences, tell us the truth no matter how painful. The reform we seek must be anchored in lived realities, not theoretical assumptions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 envisioned a judiciary that is independent, impartial, efficient, and accessible. But vision without execution is a hallucination. Today we bring a journey of execution. We work together, not as critics, but as competitors, not as competitors, but as custodians of justice. Let the word go forth. The Law Society of Kenya is committed to restoring confidence in our justice system, not through slogans, but through substance, not by complaint, but by action, not tomorrow, but starting today. Today, a lot of questions continue to arise, particularly in our criminal justice system, which has come under a lot of scrutiny over the last 2 years. The processes of arrests of the Gen Zs, the abductions and enforced disappearance of the youth, and the defining silence of it later. And more so today that the people of Kenya are mourning the death of Albert Ojwang. Before our case gets to court, the process of gathering evidence and the process of preparing for trial is crucial. Many a time, judges have dismissed cases based on inadequate evidence. But the question is, does this train stop there? We also know about instances where the Director of Public Prosecutions returns a file to the National Police Service or to IPOA because of lack of adequate evidence to prosecute. And what happens next? When the police or happens to the affected victims, what becomes of such cases and who should be kept accountable? This task force could not have come. Rule of law will not just stop at the judiciary, land registries, and other registries. It is going to be holistic. We must restore sanity within the entire justice system. Such is not a mean feat and definitely not an exercise that we can achieve without you. We need support and teamwork from all advocates and Kenyans of goodwill. Let this task force be the spark that ignites a revival in our justice system. Let it be the stone that starts an avalanche of reform. Let it be remembered as the turning point where silence gives way to boldness, where apathy gives way to accountability. As the president of the Law Society, it gives me great honor to be able to launch this task force. I'm hopeful, I'm expectant, and yes, I'm watching closely. Let us begin this journey not with fear, but with faith, not with doubt, but And let us work together with rigor, with resolve, and with results. Thank you, and may justice not only be done, but to be seen to be done swiftly and ethical. God bless you all, and God bless Kenya. And now it's my singular pleasure to invite the chief guest to address us, the principal judge, Honorable Justice Eric Ogolla. Karibu.
You may be seated. May I acknowledge the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Madam Faith Odhiambo, who has delivered keynote address on this occasion, and which is really touching, and I believe it will be a ground-breaking speech which will give solution to some of the problems that we face in this country, in our courts and our registries. May I also acknowledge Senior Counsel present, Dr. Fred Ojiambo, John Ohaga, my nephew, Sanderetu Wilfred. I want also to acknowledge the LSK Council and chairs of various branches, including the branch where I work. Oh, I work nationally. But I wanted to remember the Nairobi branch. You remember that we picked the chair of the Nairobi branch to be a judge. Lady Justice Helen Namisi is with us. And some of these challenges which we talk about, we ask Lady Justice Namisi, what is your response now that you're in the judiciary? He says that she needs a whole day with advocates to tell you the story of the judiciary. May I also acknowledge members of the task force. I think you are equal to the task. Among the members, I saw very competent people, the ones I know, others I may not know. I want to remember my friend Tindika from Mombasa. I wish you Godspeed in your action. Mr. Tindika, I don't know if you still retain your letterhead. His letterhead reads, "Let justice flow like a river." Do you still have it? Thank you. I also want to remember Mr. Uchi Baba. Where is Uchi? Thank you. I acknowledge you. I want to remember all the members of the LSK. I also want to acknowledge Odongo Mohammed, representative of the AG, the Honorable Lance Registrar Mr. Nyandoro, Dr. Kimaru, and all of you, the ones that I know and the ones I don't know. We belong together. Where is Assessor? Yes, Assessor, we met in Eldoret. And all of you, I want to acknowledge you. May God bless you. Listening to what the various speakers have said, I would have responded completely differently, but I am here to represent the Honorable, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. But what I would want to say is this. Members of the judiciary come from the LSK. I joined the judiciary in the year 2011 with the promulgation of the new constitution. I was a member of the LSK and I was practicing in Mombasa. Almost all magistrates joined the judiciary from the LSK. And indeed, in the next few months, we are going to appoint 100 magistrates which will join the judiciary from the LSK. What does that tell us? Firstly, it tells us that we are one. And then secondly, that we do the same thing. And if it's a problem, we must solve it all together. Members of the LSK, 100 judicial officers will join the judiciary from among your lot. Then there will be judges, both for the High Court and courts of equal status and the Court of Appeal. A number of them will come from the LSK membership. So this tells us that we must work together and resolve the issues that concern the people of Kenya. So what I would really have wanted was probably there's a chance for that in the future, that this kind of discussion should be done in a very careless manner. What I mean is inviting the LSK and the members of the judiciary so that we can discuss our issues without rules. So that we can talk and find out where the problem is without restrictions. And that's why I said I would really have wanted to respond to some of the issues raised in a careless way. Because when we talk carelessly, sometimes we find the answer. When we write things like here, then we read them, we are dealing with a straitjacket. We are not really looking for an answer. But when we really want an answer, we must talk without rules. And we must talk carelessly, without fear and without favor. An example is this, President. You said that we are now in the e-filing. We are working online. But if you listen to our story, we'll tell you why we are actually not working online. Yet, working online has also been very helpful. But there are challenges which you need to understand and internalize. For example, the only registry which I've seen which works online in Kenya is the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal. Why? Because they don't take evidence. In all other courts, we cannot pretend that we work online. You can file documents online, but we work on physical file. So if you come and say that you file your documents this morning, they should be on the system, I should get them from the system, but I'm not working on the system. I'm working on a physical file. Those are challenges which we can only tell you when we sit together. And in relation to that, because we are talking about ICT, we will tell you that in the financial year which is ending, the government, the judiciary was given zero money for ICT. Zero money. Not 1 million, not 1 billion, zero money for that particular thing. So we have to find out how to sustain this system, which the Honorable, the Chief Justice, has really made sure to exist. We have done e-filing throughout the country. Therefore, from the comfort of your room, you can file documents you can be heard, and really, we are heard. We do a lot of things. I am the principal judge of the High Court of Kenya, yet my average cost list on a daily basis is 30 or 40 matters. And you know that. So what does that mean? When a party cannot proceed, I cannot pretend that when I grant adjournment, I am unhappy. I am very happy. I am very happy because it gives me an opportunity to proceed to the next file. It doesn't mean that when I grant adjournment, then I go home. I don't go home. I still just proceed to the next file because they are there. If, for example, I have 10 hearings, God gave us only roughly about 7 hours to work in a day. Though apart from those 10 hearings, there are several applications and there are several mentions. I am not God. With these 7 hours, I must work. So you, senior counsel director, ask for adjournment. I'll pretend that, why are you asking for this adjournment? But I will grant it. And that's why I'm saying that when we are able to sit together and talk about our challenges, then we can actually find a solution. The Honorable Chief Justice has sent me to do, I want to just comment on some of the issues which affect us. You know, it's never easy, or it's not. Oh, honorable and distinguished members of the LSK. And when we get this audience, sometimes we talk about things which affect us as a society or as a nation. One thing which really bothered me was when Honorable Martha Karua had difficulties addressing a court in Uganda. And then soon thereafter, we had the deportation taking place from Tanzania. To their jurisdiction, we are turned away and deported. How does this sit with the LSK? I am aware that you have done so many things. We can also just tell them to go home. It is really very frustrating that Rwandese, for example, will allow us to practice in Rwanda, practice in Kinyarwanda. You come here, but you practice in our language. It doesn't make sense. Unfortunately for us, this matter has come to court, judges, magistrates, and counsel, and we agree, because there's no reason why it is us that must suffer in this community. There's no reason why it's us that must suffer. And therefore, I challenge the senior counsel who are there here. We must find a practical solution to this frustration that we are facing. If you look at the politics of the world, you look at what is happening in the US and some EU countries, you find that the world is actually shrinking. The owners of those nations do not want others to join them. And if the world is shrinking in the USA, in the EU, why should ours remain open? Why should ours remain open? Tanzania has made it clear that they are guarding their boundaries. Ugandans have made it clear that they are guarding their boundaries. Rwanda has made it clear that they are guarding their boundaries. Why is it that the LSK is the only generous child on the block? Stop this generosity. I was in Uganda last year. I just want to share with you, when we're talking about working online, what working online can mean. Sometimes here in Kenya, we think that we are ahead. But I think in terms of legal infrastructure, we are not very much ahead. Some of these countries are ahead. So when we are talking about paperless, I went to the registry, commercial registry in Uganda, because they are paperless. They are really paperless. So when I was talking to the registry, there was nothing to see in the registry, because they are only computers. There's no paper. Registry. You don't see anything. You only see computers, a line like this, like this, like this, like this. 5 years before I went to Eldoret and came back here. You know that big building in Mombasa, the court building. And in Mombasa, you also know that the temperature in that city is completely different. You have to have fans, you have to have AC and the rest. Do you know the budget that I was given per year for maintenance of that building? 250,000 shillings. 250,000 shillings to maintain that building per year. Now, if you want to budget that 250,000 shillings, what will you do with it? Where do you start? And that's why I want to thank the LSK of Mombasa. They always work as a team. That building is of Kenya in Mombasa, or the Mombasa MLS. It's one society which is really rooted forum like this. And that's why I asked the president and the senior counsel who are here that let us find a forum where we people in the judiciary can speak with all the magistrates are from your end. The issue of judgment delayed, we can give you a perspective. But within 60 days and a ruling. A number of us managed to do that actually, but there are circumstances when it's practically not possible. We would want to agree that where it is not possible, can it then be delivered in 3 months or 4 months? Those are the kind of stories that we should talk about. That the law says, deliver it within 60 days. But where it's not possible, can we then talk and agree that there are challenges, there are certain situations where it is not practical to do that, so that you know. But the problem also lies with us because we don't communicate. We judges and magistrates, sometimes we don't communicate. And if we are able to communicate, then a judgment which should be delivered within 60 days, you'll still appreciate when we deliver it within 90 days. Is that okay? Yes, it's correct, it's true. Finally, I want to say that I am completely frustrated with what is happening in our police cells. In the year 2022, I presided over the murder of Lord Monson, who died in police cell in Kwale, in Diani police station. And the circumstances were almost a replica of what happened to for safe cells in Kenya. And indeed, if those rules are applied, we would be in a cell. And I think if the LSK, because we are the custodians of justice, will join you. There's absolutely no reason why a suspect should die in Kenyan cell. So as we launch your society's efficiency and ethics task force in courts and lands registries, I want to tell you that what you are doing is the right thing. And we in the judiciary will support you because we abhor corruption. Your speech, I will deliver it to the Honorable, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much. I will then now read the remarks by the Honorable, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Chief Justice remarks during the launch of the Law Society of Kenya Efficiency and Ethics Task Force in Courts and Lands Registries. Let me start by appreciating the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Madam Faith Odhiambo, and her council for extending the invitation to me for the launch of this important task force on efficiency and ethics in courts and land registries. This initiative goes to the very heart of our shared constitutional responsibility to ensure that justice is accessible, expeditious, and corruption-free. As we all acknowledge, registries are central pillars of our courts and land governance structures. Their effectiveness and integrity directly affect public trust and confidence in our justice and land governance system. Importance of registries to access to justice, in access to justice. For millions of Kenyans, the courts or land registries are there first, and at times, the only interface with the justice system. Within courts, the efficiency, transparency, integrity, and accountability are critical to the delivery of timely and fair justice. For instance, where a registry loses files, delays action, or acts dishonestly, cases can be delayed, which can lead to injustices and erosion of public confidence in our judicial system. Alignment with STARGE vision. As you may be aware, the judiciary's commitment under the social transformation through access to justice, which we call STARGE blueprint, is to build a people-centered justice system. Under STARGE, efficient and ethical registries are not just operational necessities. They are critical to the transformation that we seek. This is because STARGE envisions a judiciary and justice sector that is responsive, accountable, and anchored in the lived realities of the people that we serve. Efficiency through innovation. Significant strides have been made through digitization, e-filing, and case tracking system. These are not just technological achievements, they are also justice achievements. These achievements have reduced delays and brought transparency into processes that were opaque and frustrating to many court users. Despite the progress, a lot more is expected to enhance efficiency, simplicity, and effectiveness in service delivery through our registries. Ethics and fight against corruption. The question of integrity in our registries and entire judicial system remains central. I will say without hesitation, there is no room for corruption and unethical behavior in our registries and judiciary generally. Even as the LSK launches this important task force, I am committed to strengthening the judiciary's internal integrity mechanisms, including the court integrity committees. I will continue to work closely with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and other agencies to address complaints of corruption and unethical behavior. Call to action, personal integrity and accountability. Ethics and integrity are not only about enforcement, but also about culture. a culture of honesty, professionalism, and accountability. We must all promote and be committed to this culture. I urge each one of us, and the Honorable Chief Justice made the following in that: demand to be served as required in our registries and courts generally. To say something on that, that demand to be served, do not give bribe and do not give facilitation. I think if we comply with those, this facilitation, then the Honorable Chief Justice goes on to say, still underlined, report wrongdoing. Demand fairness. So the task force, we are already empowering you to do the right thing. Demand fairness, do not give bribes, do not facilitate, demand to be served. Report wrongdoing, demand fairness, that is your right. And as your Chief Justice, I am here, and equally the courts are here to protect it. In conclusion, the Honorable Chief Justice says, I invite all of us to renew our commitment to accessible, ethical, and professional service at every point of justice delivery. Registries must become a symbol of efficiency, integrity, and trust, not a source of delay or frustration. Let me stop here just to comment. Many people, you counsel, you raise complaints about delays in the registry and integrity in the registry. Those complaints, you just make it in the social media. You don't bring them to us. You don't bring them to us. So if you don't bring them to us, and we are the leaders, how will we know? Because if you leave it to us to interact with them in the social media, how will we respond? We cannot respond. We have no facilities to enable us respond to your complaints in the social media. So, if it involves the High Court or the magistracies which we supervise, why have you not complained to me? Why have you not complained to me? Because I am there to receive such complaints. Let us stop talking about corruptions which we do not see. Because you have seen it, please complain about a particular person and we will take action. We registries. So if you cannot tell us, how will we get to know? We must rise to meet. Thank you for extending this invitation to me. And I will take this opportunity to congratulate, launch the Law Society of Kenya Efficiency and Ethics Task Force in Courts and Land Registries. Honorable Justice Martha K. Koome,
another round of applause for the judge. We're grateful as well.
MC, can you allow me to interrupt you? We move this that way to make room for that.
For the careless talk, before you started reading the straight jacket, you said we should be allowed to have careless talk, and in careless talk we find solutions. We thank so much for that, and especially for recognizing Uchiba. Round of applause. Thank you, members, even for taking your time to be here. I know your time is far much spent, and we are at the penultimate stages of this program. We'll be launching the Efficiency and Ethics Taskforce just in a bit. And before we do that, let me also acknowledge the presence of Wilson Omondi Detector. Where is he? Karibu sana wakili. We have Andy Motari from the Judiciary, I think. Andy Motari. Karibu sana, Andy. Council Wanjeri was already welcome. She came a bit late. We have there's a fair camera lady. We don't know where she has gone. This is for my own purposes. Karibu sana wherever you are. You know, if you climb an arrow, you have to come with all the firewood you can. I don't know where she's gone. Oh, there she is. Karibu sana. Carol Asa also came late, council member. Karibu sana, Carol. She's a council member of the LSK Nairobi branch. Wamunyora is also in the house. Oh, karibu sana. We thank you for standing strong with the people. Steve is our council member of the Law Society of Kenya. Rebina, welcome you, the Vice Chair Nairobi branch. Karibu sana. Now we'll be doing the launch, and my co-MC kindly come on board. Then after this, we'll have photo sessions. I'll be directing how we do it. And kindly let justice and efficiency and ethics roles like Rivayala bring very bad memories, so let us use Rivanyando. So let efficiency and ethics role like Rivanyando from across all our 8 branches, in our court registries, in our land registries, and thank you very much, Chief Land Registrar, for the assurance that we have in your office now. I'm sorry, Mkabata reminded me, we came to your office, it's not so good, man. But that day we were saying, Mr. Nyandoro must go, but now we are saying, Mr. Nyandoro must go on. Serving members. You all lost my shirt in that demonstration. That is how spirited I am. But I think I managed to see officers, and they are doing great work. Through Ribbon, of course, he's always introduced me to them. And we thank you for that.
I believe you got a new shirt.
Yeah, I have a new shirt through the LSK president. When I'm working for the LSK, it is upon the council to ensure that I'm dressed well. Here. That kind of collar is which one? You know, you said the bar too high for us. I need to know your tailor, even though I cannot afford it presently for some settlements. In Arodora, it's not that we want people to die, but people will die all the same. And we have their families to get something. So when I settle, I'll buy a jacket.
Madam President, the LSK Council, and members of the task force. The chief guest, of course.
We are trying to have, the space is small, but all of you will come.
We are about to do the countdown for this historic moment. Those of us standing near the confetti machine, kindly. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we get the countdown. 5. Please help me. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'd love this group for us to do a jig, then we come back and take photos. So kindly come down before I form one long queue, do you and see? Aha, tuwe kazi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. We know some people are still going to work. We don't want you to sweat too much. And I know we left out the you know, Senior Counsel Fredo Jimbo is a man after God's own heart. And he couldn't join Mulongo, but after this we can get a room here and sing unto the Lord Almighty, because this fight is go. But thank you very much. That was on a light note. So we have the President, Madam President, Council members kindly come. LSK National Office. Scott, do your thing quickly. Arrange people. Scott, do your thing quickly. Arrange people. When you're done, come on. Just arrange yourself. Those are a bit short. Okay, and Bella. There's still space up at Rais.
We can have the thank you very much.
Taskforce, come down please. The AG representative, the Ombudsman representative, Chief Registrar, kindly. ODPP. Nairobi branch and council members. And any other branch leadership, if there's any other branch that we're having today, please come. Thank you very much, branches. Any other group that I'm leaving out, kindly? Please come. Those who want to take photo now, generally, with the president, let us not leave here. High table, kujene wenye wajo. Yeah, very important. Sana. Sorry if we delayed a bit somewhere, and we'll now get vote of thanks. Then I think there's still helpings there. You can have the remainder of the helpings. Kilishi ya wakongwe katika LSK Council, wale ambao karibu kuretire kutoka practice, nata waretire, they are always kuretire kutoka practice, nata waretire, they are always they see new young admission and they're just still here. Thank you so much.
We wish to thank you and pass our gratitude to the Chief Justice and all the judges and lawyers. All those are our members. And I in every forum, I've kept saying that all these people who are doing legal work, whether you are in ODPP, whether you're in the judiciary, at the AG, and in the courts, but you are practicing law in your various sectors. So we will change the portal to indicate you are active, but in this particular sector, whether in the county government and everywhere. So we want all the good things. Last year, during our annual conference, the late Feroz Noraji, I know we are coming in with the senior counsel, we are coming in with the memo office. So all of us are constitutional office holders. So let's sit and make sure that this thing we are doing under our mandate as constitutional office, the members of the task force for agreeing to take this responsibility, It's a very onerous responsibility. As you notice, I was a bit late. I was summoned by a judge because there was an issue of ethics and integrity about a very senior advocate who was admitted in 1978. And the matter involves that we are launching the efficiency and ethics task force, both in courts, and it starts with us. Like the president says, we, Council Bar, the senior council, we cherish you, my brother, senior counsel, Dr. Fred Ojambo, Wilfred Nderi, to the task. One of the things which John Ohaga, senior counsel, does is that he mentors young advocates, and he has gotten award by Sarova Hotels, whom I am appreciating. There are still some largesse. We are still going to have this. We will have more bread on the table for lawyers, and we will be able to cherish the one and an efficient and an ethical legal sector. Thank you very much, all those other invited guests who have graced this occasion. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us end it with a word of prayer. Let us be upstanding as we say the final prayer of the launch today. Lord Jesus, we are so grateful that you were able to bring us to this place. And Father God, we have had a meaningful conversation. And Lord Jesus, that today is about the journey for a more fairer society. It is a journey for a more just society. Father God, enable us the wisdom to go ahead, to live that which we have spoken about here today. In Jesus' name, I do pray and believe.
Thank you, members. You can leave at your own pleasure. Pocket rectangle. Somebody.